just got here. Sydney Motors.
That's that good stuff right there. V10 Judd engine, custom carbon fiber body. That's that good stuff. Ryan Turk's been in the drift scene for a minute. A lot of Florida kids been in the drift scene for a minute. Moved out to Cali or wherever and still doing it. Ryan Turk going back to grip life, not grid life, grip life, as in gripping the world. Like, that is a sick car. Good thing you got sponsors. Anyways, back to crypto. I figured some of the automotive nuts would love that. Nothing like the sound of a V10 revving to 10,000 RPM. Got to meet him actually down in Formula Drift, and it was he's always walking around, you know, with his racing suit like halfway down, shirtless, just chilling. Real cool, lax guy, down to earth. Love it, love it. Anyways, there's only a handful of coins that are doing really good, like ApeCoin, Rune, Render. Render's doing pretty good. $2.41, you know, on this recent pump. If we look back at the 6 months, you know, it's almost near the past 6 month high of 280. But, you know, I don't think it's going to hit its all-time high from way back in the day, but it's getting there. It's getting there. We'll see. Bitcoin sitting around 34.2K. Ethereum sitting around almost $1,800. BNB around 227. And then you can see a few of the other tokens, like for example, Ton, I think fell from like 241. Let me see here, 240, where was it at? So hit a high of 258, yep. And then here was 223, and now it's back to around $2.05. So we'll see how things pan out. Got some articles that we're gonna go over. You know, Bitcoin news, obviously. Got a couple of different articles to talk about, as well as trading volume and how people might be withdrawing their funds from crypto exchanges, how crypto mining companies or miners in general are lobbying the U.S. makers to, you know, counter the environmental discussion or thought process. Some Binance trouble, some warnings about the financing of terrorism, and then opinion pieces, a little bit more Gary Gensler, and then we're going to wrap up with the video of Sam Bankman-Fried throwing Caroline under the bus. So, I hope you all doing very well. Having yourself a great day. My name is Vega. This is SerpentX Tech, and I thank you so much for coming and catching up with us. If you watch this in the future, leave a comment. You know, commenting doesn't hurt anybody. It's free for you to hit the like button, by the way. Just saying, it's free. If you like free things, go ahead and do it. Helps out the channel, and I greatly appreciate it. But yeah, we'll see how things go. Let's open up Trading View. Open up my chart real quick. I meant to get that open earlier. You know, other assets, I believe, are doing good. Let's go take a look real quick at the, what is it, the S&P 500. Yeah, it's still down to last week. It's down even further over the past month. What else we got? NASDAQ. Not bad. I mean, it's still down. Stock markets are down. How's gold doing? No, that's going to make me change, isn't it? Gold is looking good. Looking good. So gold and Bitcoin are only two doing very well. It looks like. Why did you come over here? I didn't want you to come over here. You come over here, damn it. All right. So some of the key areas that I was looking at, you know, I was obviously I wanted to retrace a little bit. We kind of hit this area right there around the 33,400, 33.4K, and then kind of turned it into support instead of resistance, because originally back here was resistance at that 33.2K range. This candle, man, look, this wick right here, dude, on October 24th, 2023. Good lordy wardy. And I remember we talked about this. October is usually a green month. Not saying that the entire month of October needs to be green, but usually we start off low, you know, because of August and previous. We get a Bart Simpson, you know, back here, obviously. You can see the Bart Simpson that started basically in June as we pushed up. and then fell back down in August. August is kind of a sideways or negative month, and then October we started off, August, September, kind of a sideways month. August and September are usually a red month for us as well, but October, we started off the month of October around 26.8K. We pushed up a little bit, but then fell back down. So 28K, fell back down to 26. And then, October just took over. So can we maintain where we are? I hope so. But I do have some positions in, not financial advice, sitting around the 32 and 27.4K range. So really the bottom at the 27 range is like 27.3. But those are just positions that I have in. Will we ever get back to those levels? Probably not, to be honest. I don't know. I think the momentum's clearly in the bulls' hands. However, things can happen, and Bitcoin likes to do the opposite of whatever. Looks like we're trying to flip the ribbons. Looks like we're pretty much flipping on the daily, and that's what I like to look at. If you just zoom out, if we go to CoinMarketCap, people look at the short time scales most recently before the pump, they would be like, oh, well, Bitcoin's down. But if you just zoom out, on the year, and in the grand scheme of things, like Bitcoin's doing a lot better than most. So we'll see. And the biggest thing is, can Bitcoin continue to bring all the other altcoins with it, continue to lift them all up? We'll have to wait and see. Fear and greed index sitting around 71. This is the highest we've seen in a while, guys and ladies. This is the highest we've seen in a long time, that fear and greed index. Bitcoin dominance right now sitting around 50%, right? And for the longest time, it's kind of been around 50. It's been like 40, 42, 43, somewhere in there. But sitting around 50% right now. Ethereum is looking around 17.25%. USDT, a stable coin, 7.4. BNB, 2.86. XRP, 2.45. I wish they would just remove XRP from that and put another asset, a little bit more popular asset, but whatever. And then others is at 18.60. Nothing compared to the highs of the, I guess you would say, altcoin rally where we had others at 40%. Will we ever see that altcoin take over the narrative? Maybe, but not something I can guarantee you. Now, looking at the fear and greed chart right below me here, we were sitting between August around 30, 34, 35, somewhere in there, the low of 31, almost 30%, or 30 fear and greed. And now, investor confidence might be coming back, right? With the ETF news, what's going on, stuff like that. Or because they're more confident in it than traditional stocks, considering the world events, the world situation that we're in. So we'll have to wait and see. But feel free at any point in time to comment or send a super chat if you're watching this live. And I greatly appreciate your support and your help. Let's get into some news. But I'm going to say good morning and hello to everybody. Neomorphous, Crypto Pound of 4, Rudd. Hope you enjoyed the car. I'm not sure if you got to watch it. I might play some more sounds for you in a little bit. Thank you for the Crypto Mikkel raid. Automatic Beats. Gandalf Gray. Jamie, how you doing? D-Miners, good morning to you. And appreciate you guys swinging through. Make sure you hit that like button if you're chilling in here. I'm just going to go ahead and rock and roll. You guys... Oh, what's up, Seb? How you doing? Thank you for dropping that in there. If you need my attention, please feel free to send a super chat or at me. Otherwise, let's rock and roll. Bitcoin's 14% weekly gain signals end of an era as Bitcoin or big tech dumps, analyst says. Bitcoin's bullish momentum has spread to a broader crypto market this week as all crypto sectors book gains, says CoinDesk. BTC gained over 14% the past week, recently consolidating around the 33.7K arena after it hit fresh yearly highs at 35K, but failed to break through the price level. Bitcoin's performance is roughly in line with CoinDesk Market Index, or CMI, 14% advance. The strongest pocket of digital assets was CoinDesk Computing Sector, or CPU, an index that tracks protocols aiming to build and support the infrastructure of Web3 and distributed computing. CPU saw over 17% gains, driven mainly by tokens of Chainlink and Fetch AI. And I think AI in general in the crypto space is going to continue to provide gains in that sector. Not financial advice, just me speculating based on news, data, and the charts. Even the laggard decentralized finance, or DCF, and digitization, DTZ sectors were up over 7% this week, highlighting a breadth of the crypto rally. So we can see computing, again, 16.1%, currency, 13%, culture and entertainment, 13%, smart contract platform, 10%, digitization, 7.3%, and DeFi, 7.2%. And this is from CoinDesk indices. Notable best performers out of the cryptocurrencies include Pepe with 76% advance following a token burn. Link, which rallied about 44%, which benefit the tokenization of real-world assets trend and finance-focused injective protocol native token injection. Adding another 58% to its already impressive run following a token upgrade this August. And usually these token upgrades or rebrands can oftentimes be the killer of a project. Well, some of the projects actually do good or do right by their community, and you start to see a breath of fresh air for these projects. How long can it sustain? That is yet to be determined, but it is sometimes a good thing, or it can be a killer. However, we'll see what's going on. Don't go anywhere just yet. I might throw a poll in the live chat, and I might need your assistance, but bear with me here. Again, if you're trying to get my attention, please send me a super chat or at me in the live chat. Drinking some Doge Lord coffee, always, every Saturday on Caffeine and Crypto. I welcome you to join me with your favorite beverage, drink, or otherwise as we continue through the news. So let's see here. BTC moved 4.3 standard deviations higher than this week compared to the previous 3 months, while the S&P and NASDAQ moved nearly 2.5 to 3 standard deviations lower during the same time, the Coinbase report said. The massive divergence partly reflects a deteriorating macro trading environment, juxtaposed against Bitcoin's positive idiosyncratic story. Wow, say that word 5 times fast. But this is good, right? So what I've been waiting for the longest time is for Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies to diverge from traditional stocks, to separate instead of following the traditional stocks, to make its own path. And maybe stocks can follow because, we got all these various institutions getting involved in blockchain and crypto. But definitely stop following the traditional market, the traditional stocks. And this seems to be happening right now, which is a blessing. And as we talked about last week's video or live stream, there's a number of reasons of people are citing as to why Bitcoin and crypto is pumping. But I would always urge you to make your own decision by looking at the charts, looking at the information provided to you, and always verifying the information provided to you, not just trusting one news outlet or another. October is certainly living up to its name, right? Because they call it that because October is normally a green month for crypto or Bitcoin, and specifically. Morris noted that the tech-savvy NASDAQ slump amid BTC and gold's advance, right? We just saw gold advancing as well, signals a shift in investment landscape away from the ever-growing large U.S. tech giants. Big tech is expensive, and following underwhelming results this week, the sector no longer grows fast enough to justify premium prices, he said. Admittedly, that they had plenty of room to reduce costs, but real growth comes from sales rather than costs. So we should see, hopefully, and again, this is just speculation on my part, a moving sideways scenario, right, where we continue to move sideways for Bitcoin, so we could bounce around between that 35 to 33K range, so that $2,000 range between 33K and 35K for a little bit, and hopefully have another leg up. Maybe not such a strong leg that we had here back on October 23rd, but hopefully another leg up and then move sideways, right? I want a nice, slow advance. Whenever we have these straight up to the moon half pipes, that can normally spell disaster for the overall market. But we'll see how things go as we move forward. And I don't know where I had this originally. So let's go back here. All right, so Bitcoin price surge sees significant asset outflow on crypto exchanges. Okay, so that was next. And let's see here. The outflow of assets from crypto exchanges is considered a bullish sign. It indicates that traders are moving their assets away from exchanges and no longer want to sell. That is a good signal. They no longer want to sell and they're getting their positions, they're getting their crypto assets off of these centralized exchanges, right? Oh, you should really only, again, I don't know how many times I gotta say this. What's up, Gundy? Magic Lucky, thank you for stopping by. Appreciate you guys. You never want to leave your assets on the crypto exchange, right? A centralized entity, right? Many of them are not FDIC insured, so if they collapse, you lose your funds. You know, this is the risk we take, which is why so many people want an ETF, right? They want that exposure to Bitcoin, but they don't want to be the custodian of their own Bitcoin. So that ETF can bridge that gap for them, but also improve or increase the price of Bitcoin. So benefit for us who are the self-custodial of our own cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, but also benefiting them because they don't want to be the controllers, right? Everybody wants to, in my personal opinion, and my personal opinion may be skewed, I feel like everybody's lazy. Everybody is selfish and lazy. They don't want to be responsible for their own failure. They'd rather have somebody else be responsible so they have somebody to blame rather than them taking on the responsibility and taking ownership and managing their own funds. That's just my personal opinion. Again, if I offend anyone, I deeply apologize. It's just the way that the mindset that I'm seeing from the world. But moving your funds off of these centralized exchanges, unless you're initiating a trade, have it positioned in, is a smart play, right? You have most of your funds in a wallet that you have control in a secure environment, whether it's software wallets on a desktop that is not always connected to the internet. You're not going to porn sites or stupid sites that may get your system compromised. Hardware wallets is my recommendation, or a mix. Hardware wallets, full node wallets, Electrum wallets, whatever. But again, in a secure environment, because when you have it on your mobile phone or on your computer, the device or your crypto is only as secure as you, the end user, who is in the activities that you participate in. So just be mindful of that. But this is a good sign that major cryptocurrency exchanges recorded a net outflow on October 24th as the price of Bitcoin briefly touched 35K mark for the first time this year. The movement of funds away from exchanges is considered a bullish signal, as it indicates traders are moving their assets away from exchanges to secure storage, expecting prices to increase. According to the data shared by crypto analytic firm CoinGlass, Binance saw the biggest outflow with over 500 million moving off the exchange over the past 24 hours, followed by Crypto.com with about 50 million in outflows and OKX with 31 million. Most of the other exchanges recorded less than 20 million in outflows. Outflows from crypto platforms recently have led to bank runs. Fears after the FTX collapse in November 2022. However, the most recent outflows align more with trader sentiment than fear-induced withdrawals during the peak bear market. Glassnode data confirms that Bitcoin outflows from exchanges over the past few days have risen in line with BTC's price surge, right? So people probably had a good position in, right? Maybe took some profits, took the rest off. Maybe, I don't know. So everybody has their own different trading and their own different risks, so it comes down. But basically, the outflows line up with the recent pump in Bitcoin price. On-chain analysts who also pointed towards the market valued the realized value, or MVRV, ratio, a metric that compares the asset market value to its realized value. It is calculated by dividing the cryptocurrency's market capitalization by its realized capitalization. The realized price is determined by the average price at which each coin or token was last moved on chain. The MVRV ratio currently sits around 1.47. The last time there was a bull run, the MVRV was around 1.5. So we're basically, what they're saying here and using data to try to help support it is that we're in that bull run territory. I asked on Twitter, I believe last week, if we were done with the bear market, and believe it or not, many of you or many of the community said no, that we're not done with the bear market, that we could have another leg down. And not that that's my train of thought, that was the community's train of thought. I do, however, agree. However, we got to now break through this 33K range, let's say 33.3K range, a level of support, right? So there might be some buying opportunities and a lot of support there, willing to gobble up anybody willing to push the price down that far. But, once we start breaking that, we're really waiting for the 32, almost 32K, maybe 31.5K range for the next level, in my opinion. And that's a legacy line. This purple line and this blue line are legacy lines. They go back quite a while. And then the next level, again, 30K. And then if we really come all the way back down to this legacy line, we're looking at 25K. But I do believe that there's a lot of people in positions, even if we have this huge amount of outflows, wanting to gobble up or buy that Bitcoin if you're willing to sell. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, in my house, I'm not selling. Right? Go ahead and throw up that meme of Wolf of Wall Street. Hang on. We're going to go ahead and get demonetized. Let's do it right now. Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not. Well, it's not I'm not selling. I'm not leaving. That's right. That's right.
You know, a lot of people
There's probably some cursing in here, just FYI. Any children around? Crypto Mikkel, get them away. Anybody got the kids around? Just go ahead and get them away from you.
Guys, never to take no for an answer, right? You know, to keep pushing, to never hang up the phone until you get what you want. Because you all deserve it. You know this fucking deal that I'm about to sign? Borrowing me from the securities industry, borrowing me from Stratton, my home. You know what? I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving!
All right. Sorry. That meme took a little bit longer to come into fruition. My bad. Bitcoin and Ethereum, record low trading volumes in South Korea's biggest crypto exchange. So same thing, but in South Korea. Now, what is South Korea's largest exchange? Hang on. What is the name of their biggest exchange in South Korea? Okay, in South Korea, there are 4 major crypto exchanges. Upbit, BitHub, Bitum, Coin1, and Corebit. With Upbit being the country's largest player at 80%, while Corebit market is below 1%. Despite the decline in trading volume of the centralized cryptocurrency exchange globally since March, South Korean major exchanges have managed to recover, with total trading skyrocketing 37 billion in July, recording the increased growth compared to Binance, the world's largest crypto exchange. The growth was mostly due to the court ruling in Ripple's favor in the case against the U.S. Security Exchange Commission, or SEC, as previously reported in the crypto news. According to the report, altcoins seem to form a major portion of South Korea's investor portfolio. According to the report, Bitcoin, Ether, Polygon, which dominate the global market, recording the low trading volumes on Upbit. So, you know, you're seeing outflows of Bitcoin and Ethereum from some of the exchanges that we're probably more familiar with, and as well in South Korea. So this is a world thing. These are people wanting to get their assets off these centralized exchanges. Bullish indicator, positive news for you and me. We'll see how things go. Always be prepared and never invest more than you're willing to lose. Now, Bitcoin mining stocks are rallying, but some are posed to fall if the cryptocurrency hits this key level. Now, it doesn't give us much information. It requires us to sign in for CNBC Pro. I do not like paying for news, but I'm wondering if they're talking about, so they're talking about mining stocks, right? So there's a number of mining companies out there that actually have stocks, or they're publicly traded. And they're saying that these stocks could rally, or rallying right now, but could be something in key indicator or something that could, you know, break that mold. Not sure exactly what that is, but there is some things to keep an eye on. And that is, you know, the environmental discussion, the price versus the reward, basically the overhead, right? If the mining operations overhead is pulling them under and the price is not recovering to the levels that they were hoping to see, they cannot keep up with the current market conditions, and therefore they have to go under or sell their hardware or whatever. It's still continuing. It's not just what we saw during the bear market. It's still continuing right now, even though Bitcoin is up. And so I wish nothing but the best for those in operations, small scale, mid scale, large scale, that are still hanging in there and pushing through it. And you, more importantly, you, the viewer, the watcher, the person that participates in these cryptocurrency networks, right? Helping secure the network, helping to, you know, be involved, helping to decentralize if possible, depending on the project. You know, you hung in there, right? People looked at you sideways. Your family may have questioned you. Your friends may have questioned you. Why are you doing this? You lost so much money. Well, it's because you believe in blockchain long term. You believe in a project long term. So congratulations to you. If I could shake your hand, I would, but I can't. So all I can say is thank you, keep grinding, and congrats. But the environmental discussion has been one that's been ongoing for a while. Dozens of mining firms came to Washington to steer the policy narrative away from the negative environmental claims and make a case for mining as an economic and security boom. While crypto mining is discussed in the U.S. Congress, it's often tied to claims that mining operations are environmental parasites, sapping finite energy resources. But representatives of the sector flooded offices on Capitol Hill this week to argue that the businesses can help stabilize the power grid tied to the renewable resources and fostering domestic technology, help improving the grids, the power grids, the energy providers. The energy providers really don't want to upgrade, in my personal opinion, because they like taking the money out of our pockets. And I think I lost like 4 viewers with that Wolf of Wall Street video. I'm sorry, my bad. Anyways, executives representing more than 40 mining operations and then lobbyists hit dozens of offices in the House of Representatives on Thursday, focusing on the members of the House Energy Committee, Commerce Committee. The core message that we delivered to congressional office today is that Bitcoin mining is helping achieve and advancing America's energy security and national security, because that is a concern. I'm not sure if you paid attention to that. You guys do realize, at least here in the United States, I know all of you are abroad. Here in the United States, there's really only 3 major not power lines, but power trails. I don't know what the term is. Help me out. But you got the East Coast, you got the Midwest, not the Midwest, the middle of the country, but then Texas on its own, and then you have the West Coast. And, you know, at certain key positions, some of the national security risk is an attack on the power grid to knock out power for XYZ. And there's key positions, key spots that are guarded, obviously, that if knocked out could take out the power for a dramatic amount of region. Like, for example, the Southeast, right? If you did something in the northern part of the United States, not condoning it and obviously not trying to give information to those who probably already have it because they're idiots and like to terrorize people. But we do need to improve our energy grid and our energy infrastructure, which does fall under national security. So this argument that crypto mining in general is a parasite on the energy grid can be technically true if these operations were not working smartly. And there's not everybody working smartly, but we do have farms popping up that are just straight renewables. They're operating off of just renewables or wasted gas. So they're trying to make sure that their operations, you know, if they do have a good mix, right? Because most of them do have a mix. It's not just I run off of straight renewables all the time, but they might run off of the current grid wherever they're connected, and use, you know, that power provider might be using 40% coal, and then there might be like 30% natural gas, and then the other 30% and then 10% is more renewable resources like solar or hydro or wind or whatever it might be. So it's all about a mix and being environmentally conscious, but while trying to build and maintain your operations. But these facilities, we're talking 5 megawatt, 15 megawatt, 30 megawatt, large operations. So they're working, and when you have individuals in DC or the inside the government kind of bad mouthing these operations, it's like, no, you get it all wrong. Like, here's the data. Look at what we're doing. So it's good to see this continuous push, because I have a feeling that narrative will continue to get rubbed in our face until people in positions of power either get their information or facts a little bit straighter, or they're removed from office or don't get renewed for office. We'll see. Not saying, and I'm not asking for people to get kicked from their positions. I know some people probably shouldn't even be there, but that's not for me to decide. That's for us, the American people, to decide. And not everybody's in America that watches this show, so you probably don't give a damn if you are in a different country. But last year, U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren led other lawmakers on a probe of crypto affects, how crypto affects, the vulnerable Texas energy grid. Warren and environmental groups have criticized the sector's high energy use as a threat to global climate. We have seen a lot of misunderstanding about Bitcoin mining and energy policy. Boring said, adding that the companies in their House meetings shared real-world examples of technology becoming a part of the U.S. energy infrastructure. The negative impact of the energy usage debate wasn't as pronounced as I had anticipated, said the Global Digital's former head of mining, Amanda, who is now on the industry consultant and participating in an event, said it's posting on social media platform, said in a posting on social media. She noted that the arguments that resonated with the lawmakers included jobs mining creates and advancements in U.S. innovation. Now, I have a counter position to that, but I'll talk about that in just a minute. Anyways, the other guy, head of strategy, Sanjay Gupta, head of strategy for whatever, Silicon Valley, blah, 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 focus on the discussion, blah, blah, blah. Discussions on restrictions and import tariffs on Chinese technologies in the space. He said U.S. already limits access of sensitive high technology to Chinese companies, but his company's priority was to ensure that that's enforced. Well, a lot of the miners made, created, developed are in China. Bitmain, WhatsMiner. So I wonder, I don't see why the Chinese would be using, kind of like the Huawei conspiracy. And I'm not, again, I don't want to, this is why I hate talking about certain topics, because some people take it too far. Would the Chinese government be utilizing or putting something, having these companies put something in these ASICs to where they can spy on the owners or the company that runs these ASICs? I doubt they really care about that, to be honest. I mean, they're just chips and networking. So the networking aspect may be, but these farms should be monitoring their network activity anyways. Like it doesn't need a lot of packets. There's not a lot of packets sent to receive when it comes to submitting shares, receiving the next chain, and moving on. So unless it's doing something extra out of the ordinary, I don't see why China would even prioritize, hey, put this special chip in there that doesn't do anything and is quiet. It looks like a temp sensor, but monitors or, helps infiltrate, mining farms or whatever. I don't think they're worried about that. I think they're worried about their bottom line and making sure that these companies are pumping out these ASICs so that way every country, because it's not just here in the United States, Canada, South America, wherever, is able to get their ASICs and get their miners operating. But anyways, the point of this article was to talk about how crypto miners have been lobbying U.S. lawmakers, advising that your all your data is not there, all your facts are not straight. Let me help you. Here's how we're improving the energy grid. Here's how we're improving the infrastructure. This is a benefit to the country, not so much a hindrance. Yes, there are some people that are using default energy from their power grid, and that power company might be an asshole and is just not caring about renewables and just want to just get your money as much as possible. I'm not sure. Matter of fact, I would love to go tour my power company's setup and make sure that they're doing right by the consumer, but they're probably just going to take me to some farm of solar panels that they don't own and pretend it's theirs. I don't know, because power companies are pretty freaking greedy, just like the pharmaceutical industry. Anyways, Joe Biden to reveal leak that could spark Bitcoin prices, Washington Post reports. Let's see here. Let's go straight to it. A new leak suggests that President Joe Biden is gathering tech executives at the White House to unveil new regulations that Bloomberg believes will have a spillover effect into the crypto industry. In an October 25th release from the Washington Post, the administration order is said to have made 2 days before the international summit in the United Kingdom, where government officials, prominent figures in Silicon Valley, and representatives from civil society groups will come together addressing the growing concerns surrounding the societal implications of AI. Okay. Interesting. Excuse me. Hiccups and then a burp. That's weird. All right. So let's see here. U.S. government influential position on major technology consumer. All right. It will also mandate the cutting-edge AI models undergo comprehensive assessment before gaining approval for utilization by federal employees. Okay. Vetting the AI programs being utilized for federal applications or what have you. as revealed by 3 sources actively engaged in the deliberations over the surrounding order. The spillover. Bloomberg goes on to highlight the initial reports from last month raised concerns within the crypto industry as it hinted at the potential classification of computational resources as national resource. The classification might necessitate cloud computing giants such as Google to disclose instances when customers exceeded a certain threshold in their utilization of computing resources. This threshold would apply to various activities, including Bitcoin mining. What? Cloud computing giants such as Google to disclose instances when customers exceed a certain threshold in their utilization of computing resources. We're not using Google Cloud for Bitcoin mining. What? Okay, I don't know how that's tying into. Paradigm's head of government affairs, Alexander, expressed apprehension that such an order could resemble Operation Choke Point, but applied to computing power. Greaves' other speculation was that Bitcoin mining might be viewed as a depriving households of power and diverting development talent from genuine applications. Although the leak is mainly AI focused, many in the community continue to wonder what the larger repercussions will be in the crypto market, both in terms of regulation and marketplaces. I'm going to keep my eye on this one. I don't quite understand it. If you understand it, please comment down below or say something in the live chat. But I'm just going to keep my eye on this one. That's very strange to me. Moving on, Binance founder CZ lost $12 billion on crypto trading slump. The CEO's wealth has plunged to 82%, not plunged to, but plunged 82% since its peak. U.S. regulators have sued Binance, alleging a range of violations. And of course, Bloomberg wants me to pay for it. But long story short, the Bloomberg Billionaire Index slashed its estimated revenues at the crypto exchange Binance by 38% after data showed the volumes of the firm declined this year. That wiped about $11.9 billion from the fortune of Binance founder Changpeng Zhao, known as CZ. Now, the U.S. to warn crypto firms against financing Hamas terror groups. Now, crypto firms that don't do KYC is usually what these organizations will flock to, right? If you shut down one firm or one firm denies business to a user or a group or a terrorist organization, they move to the next one. Or they might just pay somebody to create a crypto exchange that then gets shut down and then start up a new one, right? It's the whole whack-a-mole game. Kind of like back in the day with Napster or the Pirate Bay, which still exists, by the way. Where the government would go and seize the servers at some random location, shut it down, the site would be down, but the servers were already backed up, so it's back up and running in a new location, and so on and so forth. We'll see how things go, but crypto firms that are supporting terrorist groups, whether it's Hamas or anybody else, are on notice and need to be careful. But it's not just crypto that these terrorist groups can use to fund their operations. However, many would like to paint it that way and paint a bad stigma or picture about crypto and blockchain. But this is not new to us, right? This has been happening for a long time, for many years, since Mt. Gox, Silk Road, and so on, and will continue to happen. It's just we're seeing a little bit more effects because this is the most recent attack or organized hostile actions on what we would call a U.S. ally. So we'll see how things go. But in a speech at London's Royal United Services Institute, a foreign policy think tank, a person's name that I can't pronounce, Ademo, will make clear that the U.S. officials are tracking the role crypto firms play in supporting terrorist groups as lawmakers in both parties call for closer investigation of digital funds. The remark comes amid a widening effort by the Treasury Department to crack down on the international financial channels that allow Hamas to fund the deadly massacre in Israel. Treasury last week imposed sanctions on 10 Hamas members, operatives, and other entities tied to the group. Treasury officials are also in Qatar this week to seek and crack down on the international financial support for these terrorism groups. The Wall Street Journal, citing that crypto research firm Liptic, reported that Hamas, Palestine Islamic Jihad, and Hezbollah raised 93 million in crypto before the attack. I didn't realize it was that much. Damn. Hey, baby.
Yeah.
Although some analysts said that figure is overstated. So, okay, so that figure might be overstated, but Senator Elizabeth Warren cited it in a letter signed by more than 100 members of Congress calling for stricter regulations on crypto trading. Did you forget something for work?
Yeah, I forgot the tables for the event. So
It's in the garage?
Yeah.
You good?
Yeah.
All right, love you. Sorry, wife is going to the event. She's dressed up as one of the slithering youths from Harry Potter for Halloween. Happy Halloween coming up soon. I won't be able to say that when you guys actually have Halloween, so there you go. There are those in the digital asset space who wish to innovate without regard to consequences instead of doing so responsibly, including protecting against illicit financing. The same person, Adeyemo, I don't know, will say on Friday, according to the transcript, he has prepared remarks obtained by the Washington Post. Let's be clear. We will use every tool available to go after any person or platform that's facilitating the movement of resources for terrorism. They also said, according to his prepared remarks, our expectation is that financial institutions and digital asset companies and others in the virtual currency ecosystem will take steps to prevent terrorism from being able to access resources. If they do not act to prevent illicit financial flows, the United States and our partners will. And that's a straight up threat. So, like, if you don't act, bro, we're going to come to your house, kick in your door, and take care of it for you. And this is just another article talking about, again, is crypto financing terrorism. Crypto is, the US dollar is, gold is, diamonds are. Like, again, they're just trying to paint a picture that crypto is bad because it was used in some form or fashion by a terrorist organization. Just like it's not environmentally conscious for the world. It's obviously, it sucks. This situation just sucks. And, if they were able to use crypto to really boost their numbers and get the weapons that they need to initiate this attack and continue the attacks, it sucks. Policing the world is very hard to do. It's like if you're a teacher and you're out in the hallway trying to tell the kids to stop running or whatever, and it's like 200 kids and one teacher. It's going to be very hard for you to police all that. Now, this is an opinion piece. I'm not going to go too deep into it because I want to wrap up the stream as we're in the last 15 or 17 minutes. The Hamas funding story is why crypto is sick of the mainstream media, right? So talking about the crypto industry is sick of mainstream media spinning the story in such a way that makes, again, crypto look bad. Erroneous reports on crypto funding Hamas are yet to be corrected on Wall Street Journal, as we just talked about, but I think this one is this Wall Street? No, this is the New York Times. No wonder people in Web3 distrust the roles of reporters in establishing the truth in the world. Now, this is an opinion piece by Ben Schiller, right? So, opinion piece. Just bear that in mind. It is difficult to get a man to understand something when his salary depends on his not understanding. Ooh, that's a slight against the reporter. Damn. It is difficult to get a man to understand something when their salary, their pay, depends on his not understanding, right? What the sports industry calls hot takes, right? It's a hot take. Even if it's false, even if it's incorrect, it's a hot take. Aaron Rodgers traded to Kansas City. Like, it's a hot take. Even though it's wrong, it gets the views, it gets the clicks, it gets the subscriptions. So the Wall Street Journal errors reporting last week that Hamas and associated terror groups had received tens of millions of dollars in crypto and that the money was being used to back the current war in the Middle East. Blockchain analytics firms Chainalysis and Elliptic have since refuted the idea, saying that funding was likely in the range of a few $1,000s. But those statements haven't swayed the Wall Street Journal into making a correction, as it hasn't stopped prominent members of Congress, such as Elizabeth Warren, Sherrod Brown, from continuing their push for broad crypto crackdown. Today, Brown, who's heads for the powerful Senate Banking Committee, called for additional action against financing of terrorism, including cryptocurrency, and it seems many members of Congress are now willing to believe that that the mere existence of cryptocurrency is a boon to people who kill and maim. Last week, following the Wall Street Journal's report, 102 lawmakers wrote to the U.S. Treasury Department demanding information to what is being done to prevent the use of crypto to finance terrorism. Talk about impact journalism. The Wall Street report the WSJ report has created a groundwell in Congress to crack down on crypto, even though the data behind it claims is clearly wrong. Elliptic, whose data was misinterpreted by the Wall Street Journal, says that the most prominent public crypto fundraising campaign has been operated by Gaza Now, a pro-Hamas news organization, and that is only to the tune of $21,000. Money that has apparently been largely frozen by the authorities. See? Don't trust but verify. And verify some more. But it doesn't matter. If they didn't get the money through crypto or crypto assets, they would have got it again through laundering money, money printing, or fake what do you call it? Counterfeiting, diamonds, gold. Hamas was going to do what Hamas wanted to do regardless, right? This was a planned and coordinated attack from all different types of angles. There was a large cache of weapons, ammo, and everything developed and built up over time. And then the attack was initiated. So whether those funds came from crypto, the US dollar, diamonds, gold, or whatever, the main point is this attack hurt people. And it's just another situation the world is dealing with, right? The situation in Ukraine is not over, even though a lot of people have forgotten about it. It's not over. Russia's still in Ukraine. Ukraine's still fighting. Then you got Hamas and Israel. We don't need a global conflict. Right now, we do not need a global conflict. We don't need it. But when people are broke, they'll go at each other's throats. And right now, this is all the after effects since COVID. So, will we ever pull out of it? I believe so. Will it take some time? Yeah, 100%. But we'll see how things go. Next in mining, India says, get some Ethereum Classic while it's cheap. Socks fan 96. What's up, man? Morning. Techman, TY. Do you really trust the government to do anything right at this point? No, I do not. The beginner's block. What's up, man? All right. Unfortunately, SerpentX is right. A lot of people don't do the minimum effort to move their coin to exchange. Talking about how they don't want to be the bearer or be responsible for their own crypto assets. That is 100% true. All right, Gary Gensler teases details of the SEC $5 billion take from the enforcement action. So all this money that the SEC has gained through enforcement actions on cryptocurrency is very interesting. What are you going to do with it? Is it to fund your organization? Like, what are you doing? I don't see anything here. So let's see. While talking about the economic perspective of the SEC's enforcement action, Gensler noted the agency filed more than 780 enforcement actions in 2023, including over 500 standalone cases. The enforcement actions led to judgments and orders totaling $5 billion, of which $930 million was distributed to harmed investors. Okay, so people who were wronged by XYZ, blah, 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 investors. Gary added that the SEC has filed lawsuits against 40 firms for violations of various rules and regulations since December 2021, leading to more than $1.5 billion in penalties. Gensler revealed the SEC settled record-keeping related charges with 23 firms in the last fiscal year. When security laws were not in place, Gary. What? Hang on, let me read this. Gensler went on to draw comparisons between the crypto ecosystem and the financial landscape of the 1920s, so around the Great Depression, for whatever reason, when securities laws were not in place. Gary Gensler said that the crypto ecosystem suffers from the same situation as the financial landscape before clear regulations, leading to several scams, frauds, and bankruptcies. He argued that the issues necessitate stricter regulation. Without prejudging any one asset. The vast majority of crypto assets likely meet the investment contract test, but making them subject to securities laws. Yeah, but when you were on stand, you were saying Howie test, and it didn't meet, or it did meet, and blah blah blah. Like, so you say the rules are in place, but the crypto organizations and industry is asking for clearer guidance because the rules that are in place don't kind of fit. You think you make it fit, right? You make it fit that particular situation, but it doesn't fit. Not for everything. So how is it relative to the 1912? I don't know. I don't understand Gary Gensler. All right. So last but not least, let's listen to this video of Sam Bankman-Fried and let's see here real quick. Let's mute this because it's going to be an ad. I'm not sure how long this video is, but we're going to sit back and relax as we get ready. I think somebody's going to be going live here in a little bit. Maybe not. I know Rabid Mining is going to go live here in a little bit. But let's see the latest on SBF. Basically threw Caroline under the bus. Emitted fault in some form. And basically he was just acting on behalf of legal advice. So we'll see what happens. But let's take a listen.
Optimism for a Bitcoin ETF. Sam Bankman-Fried takes the stand again, this time with the jury present. And former Assistant U.S. Attorney Brendan Quigley reacts to SBF's decision to testify. Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Tanea McKeel. Crypto trading flat across the board, but capping a winning week following Bitcoin's big breakthrough above 30K. The coin ended the week up almost 15%, making it its best week since June 23rd, after BlackRock first filed its Bitcoin ETF application, the same thing driving sentiment this week. It ended right at $34,000 by noon Eastern. Ether also notching an 11% gain for the week, its best since April 14th, and ending at around $17.80. Shares of mining stocks posting double-digit gains along with it. While investors are watching closely to see if Bitcoin can turn 32,000 or thereabouts into a new floor after it was stuck between 25K and 30K for most of the year. Chart analysts see higher highs and higher lows in the price if it can clear that level, with some eyeing $40,000 by the
I'll answer that question just a little bit, Sox Fan 96. Hang on. How's the C1100 mining? I'll let you know in just a second.
End of the year. The week ahead will provide its first testing ground. The Federal Reserve begins its November policy meeting on Tuesday, and investors will be listening closely to Fed Chair Jerome Powell's comments for insight on the path of future rate hikes, which could change the atmosphere in the crypto market. Okay, let's get right to the latest on the trial of Sam Bankman-Fried. We told you yesterday that SBF testified without the jury present, so the judge could decide what from his testimony would be admissible. Bankman-Fried's main argument is that his lawyers advised him on many of the practices at FTX, a claim the judge has been reluctant to allow in court. SBF placed most of the blame on in-house attorneys like Dan Friedberg, saying he was the one who finalized the company's document retention policy and that Sam took the effort to stop the auto-deletion of documents and messages once he knew there was regulatory interest in the company. Bankman-Fried also pointed to in-house lawyers for the loans between Alameda and outside companies, saying he took comfort in knowing legal had signed off on them. Additionally, he said he believes Alameda's ability to take out loans was allowed under the company's terms of service, at least in certain circumstances. Well, after SBF testified yesterday, the judge ruled this morning that the defense can include the testimony about the role the lawyers had in the collapse of the company. Then it was Bankman-Fried's shot to testify before the jury. He started by saying he made mistakes and acknowledging that a lot of people got hurt with the collapse of the crypto exchange. After that, it was all about explaining to the jury those same points he told the judge yesterday, placing the blame on in-house lawyers. Okay, for more on Sam Bankman-Fried's testimony, Crypto World's Jordan Smith spoke to Brendan Quigley, a former assistant U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York and partner at Baker Botts.
Thank you so much for being here. Can I just start by asking for your reaction to this decision to have Sam Bankman-Fried testify in his own defense? How unusual is that decision? And do you think it's a good idea for him to do so, given how much we've heard from him in the past year?
Yeah, I think it is relatively unusual in criminal cases for a defendant to take the stand. It does happen. It is one of the only things in a criminal case where the defendant has an absolute right to do. and his or her lawyer cannot talk a criminal defendant out of not testifying. So this is Sam Bankman-Fried's decision. It's not his lawyers may be aligned with it, but this is his lawyer's decision. It is his decision. It's not only his lawyer's decision. And look, I think there are a number of reasons why somebody in a case like this could choose to testify. One is they feel, that they've had 3 or 4 people from the company, a number of company insiders testify against him, and he needs to kind of get up there and try to counteract that testimony. I think there's a view that it could potentially help humanize him a little bit to the jury. And I think in a case like this, the defense, obviously they're hoping for a straight acquittal, but, sometimes you're playing for 1 or 2 jurors who you hope will, sympathize with the defendant, even though, they'll probably be instructed by Judge Kaplan that they're not supposed to sympathize with the defendant. You're hoping for a little, just to sway 1 or 2 jurors that, hey, maybe he was acting in good faith here, just to create that reasonable doubt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to get to the hill that the defense has to climb here, given all the other testimony in just a second. But the other thing I'm wondering how unusual it is the judge sent home the jury yesterday to hear from Sam first before the jurors heard from him. What's your reaction to that decision, and how common is that?
So that is pretty uncommon. A judge is a gatekeeper of evidence, right, of what evidence can come in or out before a court. And there is the federal rules of evidence do allow a judge to hear testimony, actual testimony from a witness outside the presence of the jury before deciding on whether certain evidence should come in or out. So I think, this is obviously a very kind of sprawling case. I think it was an unusual, but, Judge Kaplan's a very careful judge, very experienced judge, to get a sense of what the contours of Sam Bankman-Fried's testimony would be, particularly on the advice he says he received from his attorneys, and to see whether, how much of that was permissible to put before the jury.
Yeah, the judge did ultimately allow that defense to move forward. But given your experience, how well does that argument that he was just listening to the advice of counsel, how well does that work in a case like this?
Yeah, I think he allowed it to move forward in a little bit pared back form. I think he's allowing it on some issues, but not on others. I guess there are 2 issues. Number one, is there sufficient evidence in the record for the judge to actually even instruct the jury on it? And then number 2, is the jury actually gonna buy that argument? And look, I think one of the challenges for the defense team here is, again, the sprawling nature of the case. Sometimes that defense, it's easier in a case where you're talking about a single filing with the government, right? I mean, there's a lot of times.
So basically a bunch of finger pointing and throwing people under the bus. So you're not taking ownership or responsibility. You're blaming legal. You're blaming Caroline. You're blaming everything. He understands. Yeah, I understand. It hurt a lot of people, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. But that's a bunch of BS. I mean, very eccentric, very smart, but not very street smart. Like, no street smarts whatsoever. Kind of like my oldest son. Very intelligent, but just, as far as like street common sense, not so much. I figured that's what was going to happen, right? Everybody wants to blame somebody else for a job, for a thing, for a problem, for an issue. Nobody ever wants to take ownership or responsibility to fix the issue. So we'll see. Check out the Formula Super at World Time Attack. It is about an hour long. If you never heard a Judd V10 engine and you're a car guy, you're missing out. I miss the V10s in Formula One. I understand we got to become more economical, not only environmental friendly as far as mining goes, but in our race cars and stuff like that. And our fuels are getting better, synthetic fuels, stuff like that. But I really love the automotive scene as well as the computer and tech scene. So stay tuned to the channel. There's going to be some cool updates coming in the future. I can't talk about it just yet. I got the C2 project kind of in the works, trying to fill out things, see what's going on. And as for the C1100, which is an FPGA, if we go to hashrate.no right now, basically, if we look at the C1100, you will see it's only making about 42 cents a day. as far as the charts. But there's one cryptocurrency that is not on here, and that is Radiant. Remember, I showed people how to get their FPGA to work with Radiant using the Whitefire bitstream, and I think there was a number of others using the K1 bitstream. But Ironfish is what I'm focusing on because the algo change was coming. I don't think they're changing the algo. I haven't caught up on that. Somebody can correct me in the comments, but I'm pretty sure the algo is staying the same. It has not changed, and you can see right here that in the past 24 hours we made about 44 cents. So that goes in line with what hashrate.no shows as far as the profitability, maybe like 2 cents more after electricity, because I'm not drawing up that much power. I'm around 21 cents profit, and I'm just trying to stack as much Ironfish as possible. Originally, remember, I was mining Caspa with it, but because Caspa got in flux with a bunch of ASICs, I have switched off of that. Right now, if we as we get ready for one of our colleagues to go live, let's see if anybody's going live. I don't know if they are or not, so we'll have to wait and see. But I got to get going, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Go catch up with Rabbit Mining at 1 p.m. Do me a favor, hit the like button on the way out. Make sure to get subscribed, hit the notification bell to stay up to date, as well as check out some of the links in the description to help support the channel and what we do here. And you all have yourself a wonderful day. Crypto McCall, I'm going to call you in a little bit. The rest of y'all, please stay tuned. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. Make sure to hit the bell notification to stay up to date with what's going on with the channel. And if you're interested in becoming a member or a supporter of the channel, there is a Patreon and a join button down below. And I thank you again for your support and what you all do for the crypto community. Keep popping, keep rolling, keep your head down, stack them sats, and I hope you have yourself a wonderful day. Take care. I'll catch you next one.